Hi, I'm Dr. Marilyn. Welcome to Let's Talk Emotionology. On this channel, we explore how emotion science shapes our achievement, our leadership, our learning, and our everyday human experience. Not as abstract theory just from the book, but as lived human experience and interaction. Our conversations, however, are grounded in my latest book, Emotionology from Aristotle to AI. And in this book, I examine how emotion science research is translated into practical insights. Today, we are talking about something that many people are experiencing right now: burnout. Emotion science invites you to look under the surface. What's causing this burnout? Why do some people burn out or appear to burn out, and others in similar circumstances with similar demands appear not to burn out? Well, it's real simple, my friend, and we are going to explore that today. Burnout is often explained as a personal issue. People say things like, you need better time management. You need to take better care of yourself. Well, as a runner and a fitness person who really cares about my health and well being, mentally, physically, and emotionally, I get into a runner's rut, also known as burnout. But I have other mechanisms in place to move me beyond that. So these suggestions about better time management or taking better care of yourself, they are helpful, but they aren't the cure-all or the be-all. They don't explain something very important. Why is it that two people working in the same environment often experience very different outcomes? You've heard me tackle this question from similar points of view, from different points of view in other episodes, whether from motivation or from confidence. Now we're looking at it from burnout. One person burns out too quickly. The other person can function for years. Emotion science suggests that burnout is very rarely about time alone. In other words, burnout cannot be measured like, oh, you're going to burn out quickly, you're going to take a long time. No. Burnout is often about the conditions within which people are operating. You will say, well, duh, Dr. Marilyn, we know that. But we take it a step further. It's not just the conditions, but it's the interpretation of all of the interactions happening within that system. In episode 1, we talked about the myth of stoicism. People think, oh, you can just be stoic. But Stoics were very emotional. Their emotions were based on the original word for emotion, which came from the word for motion, which is mover, to be moved. Stoics were moved by what they saw in nature around them, and this helped them to then go deep within and accept what they had that was moving them from within. So when they appeared stoic, it's mainly because of self-acceptance, and that's how we can tackle motivation, we can tackle confidence, and we can tackle burnout. So, as usual, by this time in the program, we are reading an excerpt from my latest book, Emotionology from Aristotle to AI. And for this episode on burnout, I'm reading from section 27.2, and that section says, burnout as a system outcome, not as personal failure. And I read this short excerpt. Burnout is often accurately understood as the progressive depletion of emotional availability within an environment. It is not exhaustion from the individual will. Individuals do not burn out because they lack commitment or perseverance. They burn out when the emotional resources that are available to sustain them remain engaged in something else, or are consumed faster than they are replenished. This depletion often remains invisible. We don't even realize we're being depleted because output may persist. We look like we're still producing even as availability declines. This is why back in the day, sadly, they used to say, oh, you are going to make me snap or go postal. It's because we are manifesting hidden burnout that we didn't acknowledge. To continue the short passage I'm reading, individuals continue to perform while quietly absorbing all of the emotional loss. Burnout emerges not as a point of initial strain. It's not going to show up right away, but at the point where the resources that are sustaining your emotions are no longer enough to bridge the gap between what they expect from you and what you can give them. Let me repeat that last part. Burnout occurs when the resource of emotions are no longer enough for you to bridge the gap between what they want from you and what you can give. We've all experienced that. I can't give anymore. I've done enough. As parents will say, after all I've done for you. That's burnout. So what's the lived expansion? How do we expand this further? Well, at this portion of the show, this is where we take it to the streets. We take it to your house. We take it to your job. So let me translate this into everyday life. Again, I'm going to give you a scenario. Imagine two teachers working in the same school. They have the same schedule, the same workload, the same expectations. Yet one teacher begins to feel exhausted and disengaged before the year is even halfway through. Another continues teaching effectively for decades. Why? If you are a regular viewer, you know what's going to come next. Emotion science shows that burnout is very rarely caused by effort alone. When I was a new teacher trainer, I used to tell teachers, it's not how much effort you're putting in, it's what you're getting out of it. More importantly, it's what it's taking from you. So, it often develops when the conditions surrounding the effort become misaligned. I know with my new teachers, they were chasing every paper that came before them as far as, well, the office wants this, the students need this, the parents need that. So the conditions surrounding their effort became so misaligned. There was no symmetry. And that was my job as a new teacher coordinator, as a new teacher trainer, to get them to align so that their efforts really paid off before burnout. When expectations are unclear, and sadly, in the field of education, this happens a lot. But when expectations are unclear, when the effort is not recognized, also that happens a lot in education. Maybe it happens in your field as well. However, when the expectations are unclear and when the effort is not recognized, that's when the pressure accumulates. And the pressure is going to continue to accumulate while at the same time it is not being replenished. It's like a fuse. It's going to blow. When people feel that they are carrying responsibility without influence, without positive influence, and influence can also mean reinforcement, over time, they are going to erode. They're going to erode. They're no longer going to be stable. They no longer are going to be coherent. They are going to burn out, my friend. This is not because they're weak. This is because the environment surrounding the effort is unstable. And we're still working on this in education. We get to where we have these systems in place, but we don't realize that these systems are serving no effort except to check things off for somebody in the front office. The environment surrounding the effort is unstable. So, what's the integration moment? We're at the point in the show where we talk about the integration moment. Dr. Marilyn, how are we putting all of this together? Well, first, we have to accept something. Burnout is often framed as personal failure. Don't feel like a failure, because burnout is not personal failure. Emotion science shows that is frequently because of a systems outcome. You're burning out because of something outside of you that's influencing your emotion science data profile. It is causing you to draw more on your protective emotions like anger, anxiety, hopelessness, boredom, shame, and draw less on your fuel emotions like hope, joy, and pride. When environments do the opposite, when environments support clarity, recognition, and sustainable effort, well, you already know the outcome. People often remain engaged even under pressure because they feel that they have a stake in it, that somebody cares about not only what they're doing, but who and how they are. When this happens, productivity increases, burnout decreases. However, when environments create constant strain without stability, burnout becomes much more likely and much more prevalent. So, what do we have to do in this integration moment? We have to understand that this changes the conversation as leaders, as teachers, as parents, as individuals in relationships. We have to change the conversation. Instead of asking individuals to simply do better, work harder, or manage their time better, we need to begin to ask, what conditions do that individual need in order to sustain their achievement and allow them to exist without burnout? When we do this, we are then ensuring the good of the whole. We are making sure that individuals don't feel the pressure to the point of burnout. We are recognizing signals because we have emotion science data profiles for our entire team. We know that when John appears a certain way, it's not him individually that just doesn't want to do better. It's because when he gets tired physically, he relies more on his protective emotion of hopelessness, which is going to push him further into burnout. And that's just one example, my friend. However, when we have an environment where John feels accepted, where he feels understood, John will more likely use his fuel emotions like hope to enhance productivity even when circumstances become pressurized. So, now that we understand that burnout is much more than just doing better or managing our time better, what do we do with it? Well, my friends, we're at the point in the show where I say to you, if this conversation resonated with you, and if you want to better understand how achievement environments shape sustained effort by reducing burnout, then Emotionology Life offers tools for you to explore. Check out our website, emotionologylife.com. Whether you would like an individual Emotionology Life profile or one for your team, for your organization, I've assessed huge organizations with locations across the country and put all of their data together so that upper management can see what the emotion science data profile picture is and how to use that to enhance productivity and reduce burnout. If you would like to explore our tools, the profiles are just one of the tools. In addition, we have workshops. We have specialized training just for you. We have getaway retreats for leaders and managers and families. Check out our website. Learn more. Until then, my friend, I want to thank you for joining me in this episode. And remember, be good to yourself so that you can be great for those around you. Until next time, I'm Dr. Marilyn. Thank you for tuning in.